All right, Lori. We've both been at this a while, and I'll own that it's 25 plus years that I've been working, and we've seen a lot in those 25 years. We've seen a lot of things that work. We've seen a lot of things that don't, and now we've got some converging things going on in the world. Some societal changes, some technology changes, and as we've been talking to individuals about DeepHumanX, a lot of people start asking, why? Why are you doing not only the what, but the why? And so I figured if it's all right with you, we just kind of go back and forth and talk about that purpose that made us decide to drive the business, if that works for you.
I love it. And as Chad and I think can both agree on, we both really started out in technology, right when technology started being accessible to everybody. So right back in the late 90s. And I feel like there's the change that's happening with AI, having the perspective of looking at 2 decades of technology. We have the opportunity to help narrate some of the changes that are going on, not only about technology, which we want to help dissolve the fear, but also around leadership, because the call for leaders who have bigger thinking, it's really on the it's all on the table right now. The way of working, it just feels like it's crumbling, that we've been working for the last few years. And so I hope, Chad, that you and I can share with others and contribute right to the world just some different thinking that will allow us as individuals to grow, but also teams and organizations and cultures, by just becoming aware of some of the personal constraints and the work constraints that we've put in front of us.
Yeah, and when we got together and we started talking about this, and we sat down and went through that whole exercise, like, why would we do this? What's the purpose? It's like, we've seen and experienced and been part of that industrial management style. We both probably at different times didn't find it rewarding or an environment that kind of suited our desire to be self-leaders. We were always labeled something else, mavericks or, change agents or whatever you wanted to call it. Those of us that had the ideas that some would listen to, some wouldn't. And it was that organizational structure that really created, and I think still today, creates a lot of friction for people. And so then you add in not only AI, but you add in the societal changes, the generational differences. And I think there's an opportunity for us to do what we were talking about, which was the positive systems of change for humanity as kind of the driving factor.
Right? Like, why can't we, Chad and I are both Gen Xers, right? We really grew up with the work hard, play hard, right? Like, you might go out and party, but you wake up the next day and you still, produce amazing results. And one of the things as we've gotten older that we've witnessed is like, work is literally being squeezed out of all fun. We have both of us have worked with large organizations as well as startups. We both have been through successful startups that have been sold, but then also worked with Fortune 100 company, Global 1000 companies. And there's a similar thread going on, and this is across generations, is that everything is becoming so prescriptive that it's like we've taken the people component out of it. We've taken the humanity out of it. And in turn, we've squeezed ourselves and our teams, and we've watched the workplace, right, really just become devoid of any type of play or fun, which is all just really human.
Well, and it's that whole concept of, if you're going to automate the things you can automate with AI, or things that people hadn't thought were automatable in the past become automatable. Everybody starts talking about, you have to up level the human skills, and you need to be able to augment yourself with the technology. And, we've seen the countless ways you can go learn how to use the tech, right? There's no dearth of experiences you can put yourself into to learn those things, right? Some are free, some are paid. And they, the ones we've looked at, and we've looked at many, are good in some cases. They give you some ideas, but they all are missing that. Well, what's the other side of the equation? How does that change what human skills you need to employ to stay what we call relevant, to drive that impact that you want to drive, to achieve your purpose? And at the end of the day, we wanted to build a business using the things that we're talking about and working with companies on and working with individuals on, which is embracing and up leveling those human skills, all focused on it being fun and positive for all at the end of the day. Does that seem fair?
It does seem fair, and it feels right. I think, part of the benefit of being older is that I've been, I failed miserably at the current.
Yeah.
I've been through lots of wars, and I've been really successful in roles as well, right? And I think having that viewpoint allows you and I and all the leaders out there to kind of answer the call that AI is bringing to us. Um, I hear so much fear around AI, and then as you mentioned, automation, right? People are really thinking about it as we're working today, but with the speed of AI, we don't need to be super fearful of it because it's not actually new technology.
It's been
And
around a while.
then it's been around a while, just like our human skills have been around for a while, but we've shut them off we've shut off being able to use them. Holistic thinking, critical thinking, working for purpose and joy, working for self-fulfillment and feeling the drive to be, way beyond money, to feel like I'm going to come to work and I'm going to work hard every day and give it my best because that feels really good to me. Oh, and in the meantime, right, I can also make money, but I can have a little bit of self joy as well. And I think where AI is the automation is, yes, a way to think, but that's going to, a lot of that stuff, a lot of the mundane stuff that we've really prioritized about process and linear thinking is going to be automated. So that's great. But what we have the opportunity as leaders to do is to really step into the call and the openness of a new foundation and a new way of working, like thinking bigger, thinking more purposeful, and working together with other companies instead of just saying, I'm a competitor, we can't share this, we can't work towards something, a common goal. Let's dismantle some of that. Let's start having more joy and using the technology to help us get there faster and create new opportunities and possibilities that hadn't been there before.
Yeah. I mean, I think we're both firm believers in that this is an opportunity to reinvent what work is. I should say a lot. Some people are talking about the future of work and what it means and what it looks like. There's a lot of people that are, thinking about that and things are, going through their machinations on it. And we're working to figure out the how and make that a reality so that individuals can self-empower and teams can do it inside of an organization, and then organizations themselves can do it as well. And we do understand, we knew really early that we're not going to be for everybody, because the only ones that will, I think, get the most benefit out of this are those that self-select, those that are willing to go down the journey. And based on our experience, having trained thousands of people, that's not everybody by a long shot.
No, and I think that's a good point, Chad, is what we are doing here at DeepHumanX is we're not going to give you an answer, a defined solution of this is the road in AI. Anybody who's telling you that this is the pathway of how leadership's going to go, or this is the silver bullet, they just don't know. They're just lying. This is going to be a really worldwide, humanity-wide change that's going on. And where we have that opportunity is for those who are ready to, not know the answer to the change, but step into the flow of the change. We want to help you figure out some of your own goals, some of your own purpose within the workspace, and start creating those under the circumstances you have today. And at the same time, while you're working on creating your own, your own values, really leaning into your own values, we're going to be teaching you about technology. So we do invite everyone who's interested in the change. And while you don't have to embrace all or any of it, right, it is just a conversation that we need some people talking about. We need new thinking. We need, everyone we're inviting, we want your thoughts and your individualness to be a contributor to what the future of work could look like.
Yeah, absolutely. At the end of the day, we'll work with individuals to help you understand the combination of augmenting with the AI tech, right? We'll give you opportunities to play with the tech, understand the connections that it makes back to the human skills, and we can work with the teams as well. But you have to take the first step. We're not interested in, and this was for me, was one of the driving things, was working with organizations that haven't figured out how to drive change internally results in people having to go to training that don't want to be there. So they don't get as much out of it. And that hampers the experience of those who really do have that growth mindset and want to lean in. And so really focusing on that purpose of driving that positive change for humanity, and self-leadership is what we're all about. And as we've said, we're going to pivot as things change, as our context changes and our relevance changes. We'll start with education, and we'll go from there and see where the journey takes us, and hope you'll come along.
Let's play, everyone.